I forgot to have music ready. So that's all you get. Hey, everybody, we're back. Hello, Secret Beachcombers. How the heck are you? Good to see you. You know, we haven't done a tide pool in quite a while. And not that I haven't had good guests, but I wasn't figuring out anything specific. So I'd rather not have a tide pool just to have a tide pool. But with Primo here, you know, he has these big furniture pieces that he ships. And I was talking to him like, hey, how do you do this? And he told me, I go, that sounds good for the after show. So let me make sure. Let me get rid of the old show over here. I want to view on YouTube. There we go. Keep an eye on the after show. All right, cool. We're live. All right, beautiful. Everything's working good. I do love my new StreamYard. It's
I love
slick.
this.
I like this much better than the Google Hangouts.
Yeah,
I like that I can talk to Jason without having to go back over to Facebook Messenger to say I'm panicking, something's wrong. You know, I like this.
Is that the private chat over here?
Yeah, we got the private chat, and I haven't paid for this is the free service. So if anyone wants a broadcast, I can help you get set up in 10 minutes. The free service is quite nice. Like, it's great. Unfortunately, there's a little duck sitting next to Primo.
I got a duck on my shoulder, yeah.
But when you pay for the monthly, which I'm going to do as soon as Open's over, because I go right from eBay Open to ASD to home for my 30th high school reunion. So like the next 2 weeks are crazy when I get back, because you can brand it, you can add more things. You can shoot an opening to your show, click a button, it plays, then you start your show, like all that stuff. I cannot wait to play with. Plus, it's still new, it's still in beta. They're still checking things out, and I'm in a Facebook group, and I keep saying you need to do this, this, and this, and they're like, okay, we're taking notes. So it's only going to get better. But man,
is taking notes from you. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's smooth already. Yeah, here, even Joy's like, the pictures and graphics are so much better. Hello, Heidi.
Heidi Sue.
So Ron Roy says Primo's been a ball to watch.
You ain't kidding.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I've never seen Matt Stoll's face. Hi, Matt Stoll.
Hi, Matt Stoll.
We're
all
like
right, so let me get back. Oops. Nope. That's not what I want. I want to be over here. I want to bring back up the credenza, because let's talk about. All right, so I guess I got to do it that way. Oh, nope. All right, Angela, talk for a second. I'm going to figure out
how's it going. Okay, so the credenza. What do you think it was originally used for?
The credenzas were usually used probably in a dining room.
Okay, but that one has so many weird slots. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, Mike Brady needed this because he's an architect. Because we've had pieces in here that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the way I tell is one of the drawers. There was like 5 drawers. If any of them have green felt in it, which one of them is green felt, that's how you tell.
Okay.
And most of them do. Almost, not everyone, because sometimes they were office furniture. But if they were for the home, which usually the nicer stuff was, they'll almost always have a green felt drawer.
Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at some old episodes of the Brady Bunch now, because in my brain, I'm convinced that piece is what was at the bottom. But no, it wasn't at the bottom of the staircase. They had like a terrarium built in there. They had like.
I think they do have a credenza there. It's not that one. I can picture it in my mind. It was kind of segmented a little bit.
Yeah. Have you followed any of that?
Yeah, they rebuilt the house, and now you can go there.
Yeah, and they're finding all the pieces.
Yeah, they found them all. It's open.
Isn't that crazy? Down to the dolls and the shirts and everything.
Yeah. And I don't know, because the inside of the interior of the house did not match the
never. The blueprints didn't match the world.
So I don't understand how they did it.
But they did.
They did do
because it's the magic of television. And Jason's like, now I have to lasso Angela's inner nerd.
Yep. All right, nerd. All right. So let's look at this credenza. Based on my calculations, this sucker was 7 feet long.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right. Now, you cannot throw that in a medium flat rate priority box and send it away. How the hell do you ship a 7-foot credenza?
Well, first of all, you need a slightly stronger wife, because she complained the whole time I made her carry this.
Can you imagine?
So basically, you've got to have a private shipper. I mean, this is one of the things I almost got myself in a little bit of trouble on, where I said, because if you put this on eBay, and maybe you guys can help me understand flat freight shipping, I want to have based on your location freight shipping, but that doesn't seem to be an offered
Not
thing.
yet.
So I put $500 because I know that I can get this probably to California for $5 or at the most $600. And that's going to be through a private shipper. And there's a lot of them out there. So my guy's Brian. That's the name of his shipping company. Brian and his brother. And so they swing around here. And as a matter of fact, in this particular situation, I had sold a Whitco bar to a guy in New Hampshire, the one with the colored panels in the front. And
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that was 10 years ago. And a guy in California bought it. And this guy was going to pick it up in New Hampshire and then just came by Vermont and took the credenza to 1 or 2 zip codes away from the guy who bought my Whitco bar. So that's just magic. But how do you find that guy is a little trickier. I just, through experience and knowing for years.
That's what we're going to hear. We want your experience. Tell us how to find that. How do I find my Brian?
Sure, that'll help you out because that's what he does for a living.
Okay, well, I'm saying I'm right between your Brian, wherever you are, and going to the West Coast.
And Brian,
I want to meet Brian.
Kansas City hub because he has 3 brothers that all drive big box trucks. So the stuff will come out to Kansas City, and then each guy will take a spork. We'll take a.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, that's how they're doing their business. But he comes, he wraps it in the blue blankets, and then he tapes them, and then he shrink wraps them, and any shelves, like the glass shelves in there, are individually wrapped. And I had some eyebrows from that Whitco bar. Like, Whitcos are actually very delicate, and they're easy to snap off a little piece or something. And I had those for 10 years in my desk drawer. So those have been reunited with the original bar.
So when you use Brian, you don't do anything after you sell it. You're just like, all right, Brian, come on over.
No, yeah, I had to make my wife carry it out of the house, and then I don't have to do anything. But yeah, I have to. I have. He's only one guy, so I got to take it to his truck. But that's it. And then he takes it to the other side, and that guy helps him get it in the house. But it's not technically white glove shipping, but it in no way isn't it. I mean, he just doesn't wear white gloves,
Okay, so I think the biggest question is, how did you know how much that piece weighed? To be able to get a quote from a guy like Brian, even if I don't have a Brian, but I got a YRC or I got a U-ship, how do I know how much that piece costs?
The size of it. So he, like the Postal Service, is doing a bit of a dimensional calculation in his head. It's pretty random. I mean, I haven't shipped anything too much bigger than that as far as weight or size. And it was $455. So that was, and I had charged the guy $500 as a guesstimate, but I actually did only charge him the $455.
So they just kind of tell you what we think it weighs.
I really think that the weight had less to do with the size. He's really, and it is just his call. So if he came to my house and did the exact same thing for a smaller Milo Boffman chair, like a barrel chair that's fabric, that would have been $150.
Right, because are we still talking about the footprint that it's going to take on their vehicle?
Yeah,
as well as the weight.
That's more of a thing than the weight. The weight is, I mean, it's in there, I'm sure, but it's definitely a footprint. Although he could easily have just tilted it on its end, but that wouldn't have been the best way to ship it. So
okay, because see, the one thing I didn't tell you in all the time that we've been chatting the last 2 hours, we have a used furniture store.
Oh wow!
So this is where we're ready. We are Meadowbrook Furniture in Anderson, Indiana, but this is where we're ready to like explode and just start shipping stuff. But I paid for a webinar outside of Jason's group. I went, people pay for information. I went and I paid. It was only like $42 because it's an investment in our business. And I wanted to see, how do I build it? They did everything. And they were people that had been on Jason's show before. So I was like, these are cool people. It was Melissa and Rob from down in Florida, Jason.
Yep.
And, and they were awesome. They showed everything. And I was like, I feel a little more comfortable. But when he said you were going to be on, I was like, okay, all my worlds just combined. But at the same time, we have one dresser that has 15 drawers in it, and we have a dresser that's the same length that only has 9 drawers. And I swear to God, there's 800 pounds difference in the two of them. That 15 drawer dresser, even without the drawers in it, I could not help Russ move it. And don't tell Bridget, but I do move furniture every day. Don't tell her. Don't make her feel bad. But this is this.
There's only 2 of us here.
Yes, Joy. Joy, I can lift that bench with one hand and carry it to you. That thing is not heavy. But this other dresser, it came into the store and it is literally 8 feet from the front door because I'm like, I'm not moving it.
Well,
it's so heavy.
There's 2 things that have always helped me. And I had this for my arcade and pinball machine business from a long time ago. A hand truck that's built for moving fully loaded soda machines. So it's
okay.
Big red ones usually. They're big and red, and they're 6 feet tall, and they have these flop out wheels that come out of the back, and you press a little button on the bottom, and these wheels just bounce out, and then it tilts back and then it drops on these wheels so that the
kind of goes
sort of
like
angle.
that.
Yeah,
okay.
And it cost $350, $400. That was the best hand truck I'd ever had in my life, and it did everything. And it had straps that go around it, and you ratchet it down. So you don't want to, on furniture, got to be careful you don't crush it.
Oh, yeah. You don't crush it. You don't want to shift it on the legs. And
so
honestly,
you don't have that anymore. So you just have a wife instead. Is that what I'm guessing?
Correct.
All right, cool.
Same with my husband. He has me. But here's the thing. When you look at the big picture, that $350 investment for that piece of machinery is cheaper than a trip to the ER or 6 months with a chiropractor when you have jacked up your back. Because 50 ain't fun.
It is absolutely, not foolproof, nothing's foolproof, but if you just do it right, it will move a 1,200-pound thing, and you don't have to be strong. It's all physics and math and things I don't.
It's all ball bearings.
It's all ball bearings.
All right,
all the sciences.
Thanks to Andrew. We have another picture here. Here's the Credell.
Thank you, Andrew.
The Brady Bunch.
Thank you so much. Because in my mind, I put that Paul McCobb right in. It's not even a Paul McCobb. It was something else. But
and then look at this cute picture.
Aww.
That was
Jason,
precious.
There's no gray in that beard.
There's no beard really. It's
it's a little baby beard.
I have baby sideburns too. We're all just little babies.
Oh, you guys, that's so cute.
Now, I do want to show you this, Primo, because I don't think I share this with you yet. My newest Woodco, which it's, kind of like you have your Brian. I purchased the joys of the internet. I purchased the Woodco from a friend in Columbus. He has given it to another friend to get it to Akron next week, which is going to sit at a tiki bar where my mom hangs out, and then I'll get it when I come home in 2 weeks. But here you go, Clown Woodco.
What? Is that even possible?
It is. And so here's what I found out recently, which I did not know, and it makes total sense. So Woodco was pretty much make on demand. Like when you buy something, they didn't have a warehouse full of stuff. And so if they made something for the catalog and no one ever said, I need a Woodco clown, there was only ever going to be the one for the catalog. And so when this showed up, I'm like, what? How have we never seen a clown Woodco before?
Did you float that by Ken and Heather and see if they had it in a catalog?
I showed them that, and it blew, because I saw them 2 weekends ago in Portland. It blew their mind. They're like, what? It's going to make its way to Vegas, and I actually have ideas for a whole set of products based around this. So this is my jumping off point right here.
You can have your own little traveling freak show. You could charge people just to come in and look at the clown Woodco.
Oh yeah,
it's
going to be the centerpiece of my new house, which is my office, and it's going to be all creepy clown stuff. So
oh gosh,
that's coming.
I'll tell you. I'll check with my friend who who bought that Woodco bar from here. Just bringing it all around again. He has 95% of the Woodco catalog, and Ken and Heather Pleasant, who I don't know if everyone knows who they are. I just am saying names.
No, they don't, but I'll tell them.
They are Woodco, the lineage of Woodco. So William Westenhaver, he was Whitco, and then and his granddaughter is Heather Pleasant, who's married to Ken Pleasant, and Ken started carving maybe. Well, he did all the carvings for my bar, and that was the first bar that he did in 2004, I guess. And so he's just been. They've been building up and building up and building up, and I think they're just launching. I think they're finally just really launching.
So he was doing a lot of stuff, and then he kind of dropped out for a little while.
And, he was man pipe.
And then it's like
pipe player.
And then came back like, all right, I'm doing this full bore. And what the cool thing is, and this would come, and here's a little tip that come into handy to all of you who are watching who aren't into tiki. If you find a Whitco piece that needs some love and attention to get fixed up, Ken's doing that as part of a service. So I've got 2 pieces that need some serious work, and someone had just told me that. So when I was talking to them, they're like, oh yeah, send us pictures. We'll give you a price. We're doing the backs, the original backs, if you need to redo the back and this and that. And so if you find a Whitco piece at the right price that needs some work, you can actually get it fixed up by the grandson-in-law who is doing it in the same way that grandfather-in-law did.
I mean, where are they located? As any of the guys who worked in the factory. I mean,
I don't think you could even dare try to offer that service unless you were up there.
A thing to do yourself for sure. And I have seen some people try, and it's been pretty tragic.
Yeah, I sell everything else I can't risk it.
I picked up a piece at Savers years and years ago. It's hanging in my house, but some idiot decided to splash paint on it. I don't know what they were going for. And it's always annoyed the hell out of me.
The 80s sort of like splashy fluorescent.
No, it wasn't even that, because there was 4 cubed colors that Whitco had done, and then someone painted on top of it. Where'd you go, Angela?
What happened?
You're back. Someone painted on top of it.
I clicked the thing. I was like, I'm backstage. Sorry.
It was a blue square that someone painted more blue on top of, but awfully. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get that fixed. And then Stacy, my wife, and I were in the garage yesterday, and we found a Whitco tiki with a back piece in a nautical salvage yard in Miami like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. And it was hung so long and in a place that I had to climb and reach to get, that the wood inside the fabric had disintegrated. And so when you hold it, the wood just falls out. And I totally forgot we had it. And the tiki's in great shape. And she's like, anymore. And they'll just put a new back on. I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's talk about furniture a little bit more. So tell us about this piece.
So that, I mean, I'm kind of lucky being up here. I have to say that, I only have a couple people I have to battle with at any given time over this kind of stuff. But this I got at an estate sale in Montpelier, Vermont, and I bought a lot of early George Nelson furniture. And so this is what I sold to the guy who bought the chairs.
Oh, okay.
So once you sell, and he's a dealer, I would say. And he bought this table, and then he was obviously sending that guy already up there, and then I just threw the chairs on him, and then he was like, "Yay, you're the best person I've ever met," which it makes me feel good. But this is a beautiful table that you wouldn't, if I didn't get it at an estate and know where it was from, you could easily overlook that as just a regular table. And it folds out, which I had a hard time picturing it because I took a bunch of pictures at this same shoot, and a lot of them just didn't come out well. So I didn't have enough pictures, I felt, but it sold.
So two things I would recommend. Obviously the person you're dealing with, they bought our stuff from you. I'm not worried about him coming back to you, but not having more pictures of the legs and the underneath, that's where you set yourself up for when the customer goes, hey, what's this crack underneath? Well, you can't prove there isn't one because there's no picture of the underneath, really. And you said it folds out. So what I would do definitely in the future, if you have stuff that does something, throw a video in there, and I can teach you how to do it. It's pretty easy. The video doesn't play in the description, but it sits there, and when someone clicks on it, it opens it up in a new window. And so And it helps you sell stuff, especially when it's stuff that does something. So if you were to buy that toilet and then sell it, you'd want to show the water washing the ass kind of thing, you know.
Ooh, and the ground effects, multicolors, plays music.
Absolutely. But that helps sell it because the average seller won't go that extra, few steps. And my best example was I bought this wreath that had a choo-choo train in the middle, and you would turn it on and the train would go around and it would play Christmas tunes and there was lights. And I thought, oh, these will be easy to sell. I get home because I did no research thinking they're so cool. There's like 2,000 of them on eBay. But I offered international, which no one else was doing, and I did a quick video of the choo-choo train going around playing Christmas tunes. And mine sold the next day, and they both went to Europe.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea for me to do that. I'm getting just started up again, so I'm being pretty, I guess, loose. I mean, I know I'm going to start to get things aren't going to sell as quickly eventually. But one thing I heard you actually saying today, which I thought was interesting, is that they're back in the day, I used to sell on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays because it was 3, 5, and 7 or something. And then also, what was the other thing I was going to say that's totally changed and is gone now? I forget.
Getting quarters in the mail.
What's that?
Getting quarters and dollar bills in the mail.
I have never gotten that.
What, really? Oh,
no.
man.
No, Jason, because this stuff sold for thousands of dollars.
I would be like, you have to a wheelbarrow. But I did used to get. I remember we used to get cashier's checks or from the post office, those money orders before PayPal, and I hated those because I'm like, yikes, yuck. Oh, hi.
Oh, there we are. Hi, baby.
All right, so you brought the dog in. Is your muscle nearby too?
Oh yeah, she's right there. She's right behind me.
Well, have
your new best friends.
There she
is. Bridget.
Oh wait, I'm waving, but we're not even on the screen. Hang on a minute. I want to give Bridget fufull.
Hi, I'm looking at the blue alien blue.
Let's see your muscles there.
Oh yeah, you can't buy these guns at the
Oh, the dog is
wait, the camera's weird.
Hey, happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy anniversary. Thank you. Sorry for stealing your husband on this day.
To play with us on your anniversary. That's really nice of you.
If there wasn't Facebook, we wouldn't have even known it was our anniversary.
Yeah, seriously. He called me at work and said, "Oh,
by the way,
it's our anniversary today." And I said, "Oh, right, great, thanks. Love you, bye."
Can't talk to you anymore. Bye.
Love you, bye. That's the end of their YouTube
That's
videos.
Our little tag
Love
at the end.
Bye.
All right, so I'm going to show something you guys sold, and you three, the two of you and you, don't answer, and you might not know, Angela, but let's see if anyone in the chat, and we've only got.
know. I probably won't,
right.
but I might.
So I'm about to show you a record he just sold. That's so awesome. I've never seen this before. And who remembers the song from '82, Pac-Man Fever?
Pac-Man Fever. Da da da. I remember it.
All right. So here's the trivia question. Who sang it?
Me?
Who sang it?
Am I supposed to answer that?
No.
Okay, no.
You sold it. Do you know? Do you know, Angela?
I will know it when you say it, but I don't.
And they made a whole album. So there was like
doing the Donkey Kong and.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I was 12 in '82. Jason, you were 11.
I was 11. Yep. And,
I was 12. So.
Well, okay. Don't say I do, Sabrina. Tell us who sang it.
I'm going to mute myself right now.
All of you. Joy, if you know, tell us. This isn't keep the answer hidden. It was a question. Nope. Not a good guess, Andrew, but not Rick Dees. No, you got to go deeper. It was no Disco Duck, man. This was Pac-Man Fever. And what I'm about to show you, once we get the answer out, is a rare vinyl. And I have bought and sold thousands of records. I have never seen this. That's such a cool.
I didn't sell for enough then. Oh no!
Come on. Nobody knows. Nobody.
Pretty obscure. I mean, the reference.
It is all. Yeah, there we go.
Two people. Did somebody answer? Yeah. That's it.
James with Joy, Buckner and Garcia. Heck yeah.
Not Jerry
You're
Garcia.
still on mute, Angela.
I would not. I would not have known that. I would not.
All right, so here it is. Buckner and Garcia,
Square.
Pac-Man Fever on square vinyl.
Shut up.
Look
What's
at
square
that.
vinyl? That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
get the full version and the instrumental version so you can sing yourself.
2 versions.
Oh no,
What?
I'm feeling lost right now.
Why?
If somebody else owns that, it's supposed to be mine.
my precious. So the last hour and a half has been like the craziest mishmash mashup of everything that you love, he loves, I love, and all the weird stuff in the middle all smashed together.
So I do notice though you haven't sold anything tiki-ish yet. Are you not putting anything tiki up?
I mean, I can't imagine. Okay, so the guy who bought the tiki bar and the guy who I had the little pieces for, and then also purchased from me a week previous, and I shipped it to him. Versus he didn't even know he was going to buy my tiki bar.
Surprise.
And yeah, he bought a, well, I call it Big Head, but it's a they parts. Sometimes they're a lamp, and there's a giant head and a skinny little neck and a little body, and they're Whitco, and they make these big lamps, these giant shades on top. Well, this was a similar shape form factor, but it was it had like a little cup in the front, a base, if you will. And on that base, there was a bowl, because it was a fountainy thing. And then it had a fence that went around the front of it, and it was lined with tin, and it had these little tiny tikis on each corner. And I see it's in the book of the modern Tiki Modern. That we saw it in there, but no one's ever seen one of these before. And I just happen to have this one thing sitting in my basement. So he called me out of the blue, remembered seeing it on Tiki Central in 2006 or something, and just asked me if I wanted to sell it. And I was like, what's down there with all the other stuff in the basement?
You can say shit here. It's private. You can say shit.
It's with the shit in the basement. And I had not looked at it or touched it or cared about it in at least 15 years, so I let it go. But Tiki's very precious to me, and I probably won't sell much of the stuff that I have currently. I have about 20 Primo shirts. I've got almost 100 vintage Hawaiian shirts and things. These things are in the pink bedroom.
The pink room.
We don't go in there. We don't talk about it. It's like room.
Is it like a shrine?
47 at the Overlook Hotel or whatever. Don't go in there.
All right, so we got a couple questions from the chat for you. First one is from Scott. How does he determine who the designer is? Are they all signed?
They're not all signed.
Nope.
Like Whitco doesn't ever say Whitco.
No, but they're super obvious when you see them. I mean, you know it's Whitco, and that's. I'm not real great at imparting my knowledge because it's all just in my brain. So if I see something, I will almost always know what it is. But there's a couple things you can do to check it out. But for instance, that sofa. Like, how would you ever know that was a Herman Miller, George Nelson sofa? Unless
because you literally Google weird sofa on hairpin legs.
With Gerard fabric, with Alexander Gerard fabric,
and plaid, and just throw enough weird words, say what you see, and the internet will talk to you. I can't imagine this 20 years ago.
I think that there's also eventually you end up getting a little knowledge base that helps you build up that next thing.
You start to see, okay, this shape or this arc or this this color scheme or this just a certain shade.
The legs
you
on
start
this
to pick
particular thing are what gave it away to me. even though they're such simplistic legs, they weren't hollow. They were made out of a kind of metal that I had seen before. It looks too plain. Like, it looks so plain that it has to be something. It's too thin.
Exactly.
In the center. It's too.
You just nailed it.
Minimal.
When it's so flashy, you're like, somebody's trying too hard. This is understated and it's perfect. And there were so many collaborations.
Yes. Well, this came
so
out of
many
the very first Herman Miller catalog that was super cool. Like they were making cool stuff before that, but only a couple of years. This was like the first, like, really out there to hit the mainstream type catalog. And this stuff also wasn't super expensive when it came out. You know,
no,
it was meant to be in a lot of homes. So, but not unmarked. That table was not marked. And if stuff is marked, it's a lot easier to sell too.
Oh, it is. Because people always ask, is Widco marked? And typically, only thing you'll see if it's still there is they will have written the catalog number. It'll be W dash the catalog number on the back. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And there was other companies that, and I think they're employees that left Widco and went and started their own. But there was one called the Woodcarver who basically made the exact same shit, just looked a little bit different.
right.
But yeah, when you do it long enough, you can see those little.
Oh, absolutely.
Things, and you feel them more than you technically see them at first, anyway.
And then along those lines, Ron Roy says, is Kimo available for consult on pieces? Got a killer mid-century modern coffee table that no one in the local area has been able to.
Only to me, Ron Roy.
I mean, I'll help anybody. I've had lots of people.
Yeah. So let's pop
it's all community.
Yeah, let's pop it in the thrifting board after the show's over, and we'll all take a look. And like I said, see who can help, because we have all got different knowledge, and then some of us has a little bit more in this area, and some of us a little bit more in this area. So we're always happy to help each other. Because
I also have a cocktail table that somebody that sells on First Dibs contacted me through Instagram, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Is it worth a whole lot of money? Is it, why is this guy interested in my piece? So I'll be hitting you up too, because we're BFFs now, practically.
I'll tell you one thing that I know really well. I wonder if I can remember names right this second, but Danish stuff from Denmark was sold through the United States, and I'm going to vamp while I remember the name. It's a really famous name of Kofod Larsen was one of the names.
Okay.
Kofod Larsen is an American company that has kind of a foreign sounding name, but they were in Michigan, and they imported stuff from Denmark. The exact same stuff that you could get high quality, best Hans Wegner Danish pieces were sold to Kofod Larsen, and they put a hard, shiny coating on the outside of it. And this was specifically because they wanted to sell Lemon Fresh Pledge. So American housewives required easy dusting surface versus the Danish oils that you had to.
It was the era.
And it was so the Danes liked the oil that you had to do every 6 months. It was much better product with the oil because you could control it, and it would still shed the water or any problems. But America had to have that spray on it. It was I don't know if it was a law, but I think it was a law. Johnson & Johnson wax, or somebody made it happen.
If you have this apron and this stove from Sears Roebuck, you must use Lemon Pledge. It was in the bylaws of the housewife union. Yeah.
Did you know that the counter height is 26 inches or something like that?
Yeah.
And that's 5'3" woman with 3-inch heels on?
Yeah. So if your wife and I stood in front of that, it's still going to hit me. I'm like, this is not comfortable. So I just stand at the kitchen. Problem solved.
All right. My mom just showed up from playing cards with the girls.
Peggy, what?
She wanted to say, hey, Primo.
Hi, Peggy. Oh, Peggy. There you
Peggy,
are.
look. Okay, so absolute shout out to Peggy now. Thank you for sending me the shirts in such a quick amount of time.
Yoo-hoo!
Thank you so much. They're super soft. These are the premiums, I think.
Yeah. So Sabrina got a question. Have you heard of the work by Maurice P. Burke from United Kingdom? I have pictures on the thrifting board. Does that name ring any bells to you?
Well, the name does ring a bell. I can't think of UK stuff is not my specialty. I Macintosh furniture is somebody. I mean, it depends on what kind of work you're talking about. I mean, what's the
So Sabrina, Primo's in the Sturgeon board, so just tag him if you know something. I'm sure he'll say. And if no one's helping you, make sure we'll bump it up to the top. And my mom's happy that the shirt fits Angela. And Emily said this is like the 2019 version of Antiques Roadshow.
Boom.
But they never talk about butt wiping toilets. So
No, because we're keeping
that's
it
a
content.
you missed. You gotta go back and watch. You missed all about the butt wiping toilet.
The spoils go to the victors.
It's so European. We're so trendy.
We're doing a field trip up to New England in May. So everyone,
Yes.
that's serious. We will put a whole event together. We will have some fun shenanigans. So those of you who want to join us, this will be a legit thing we're going to do. I can't wait because I've always wanted to take Stacy to Brimfield, and this is a perfect excuse to get up there and see everyone in the New England area. So,
and you have to do it for. Well, we can talk about that because it's like Monday through Thursday are the key days. The dealers get there on Monday. Tuesdays between Monday and Tuesdays where all the dealers are buying, it's all incestuous and they're buying from each other. And
okay, so tell us now, what's the deal when we go to Brimfield? Do we need to bring cash? Do we need debit cards? Or
I wouldn't bring debit cards. I'd bring just
bring whole hard cash. I like cash.
Hundreds.
Okay.
I mean,
and
it's always a little expensive.
So if I were for a 16-foot trailer, how many dollars should we take?
A 16-foot trailer. It depends on what you're buying, obviously. Everyone's going for fake top prices. You just have to work crap out of everybody.
I'm super cheap.
There's people there that travel around like carnies with wagons. And they actually go from show to show to show and pull all your stuff for you. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
We don't have flea markets where I live.
So you don't have to carry this stuff. You buy it, and the guy comes over and gets it for you. You give him 20 or something to take it back to your car for you. I'm
too cheap for that.
It's a brilliant system. They bring water.
Okay. All right.
Well, they don't have good toilets there either.
So taxi adult diapers. I got it.
Oh, I just saw something fun. Let's end on that.
Okay.
Because it's a record. So since we didn't really talk about records, but I think I'll have you back on. Well, I think we'll talk vinyl someday because we didn't really even talk other than you going like, hey, here's my records.
I have 800 Hawaiian records.
Yeah, see, I had a huge record collection from my youth. It was all metal and punk and alternative. And then I fell into the love of tiki, and I didn't have the room to have both. So I sold all my metal and all my punk, and I just kept my tiki and my exotica and surf and all the all the like stuff there.
Well, all that stuff's the stuff that's worth money too.
Yeah.
The punk
but a lot of it, and that's why we teach this stuff. A lot of it you would never even notice and think, oh, that's a $300 record. You would just look
right.
Most people put in the category of sing along with Mitch Miller, like they're a dime a dozen.
World listening.
All right. So
I joined an exotica group on Facebook when I first joined the Secret Beach like 2 years ago. And man, I don't think I've ever posted or commented or liked anything. I just lurk in there, and I'm just like, my mind just goes because the level of passion for that kind of stuff and the specifics and the nuances, it blows my mind.
So how about we end on a Johnny Winter bootleg?
Bull smoking pig.
Yep. And there was multiples of this bootleg when I was getting ready to list it, and so you got to be very specific. Now you would say, Jay, I thought bootlegs would be illegal. Well, there is a little bit of a gray area with some of these records, and it's kind of a couple of things. If the person isn't patrolling, like Grateful Dead never cares if you trade and swap and sell their stuff, kind of like that jacket. And then some have become, even though they are truly boots, they become part of the normal releases. And so with vinyl, you can tend to sell it. Whereas if you're on a street corner in New York City and you picked up, a copy of Spider-Man Far From Home on DVD from a dude on a street corner, ain't no way you're selling that.
Yeah, or a fake Rolex or cheap Jordans. Those
Have you
kind of
ever had
things
a
are so
problem
obvious. But these
records?
become like cult classics almost.
Have you ever had problems with bootleg records?
Only one time. And here was the funny thing. When Pink Floyd wanted to put out a live album and Capitol said no, they said, all right, screw you. And they released it on their own. So it was a legit release.
Oh, I see.
But they went back to their original name, which was a Screaming Abdabs. And the only way you knew was Pink Floyd because they had a whole bunch of pictures like in a collage on the front. And Floyd the Barber was in pink from Andy Griffith. And so that's the only way you knew it was actually Pink Floyd.
I actually remember that.
So eBay pulled it from me, and I called them and went, this is not an illegitimate release. It's just not the norm, but it is released directly by Pink Floyd. And they did say, oh, our bad. And then I put it back up and I sold it. So yeah, I would never say to anyone, go sell illegal goods, but there is a gray area in vintage vinyl bootlegs, and some are kind of just acceptable, so you don't have a problem. And this one's been listed for probably 6 months and it's sold today, so no issues. And I'm sure my
done.
Very happy.
Good job.
All right, so dates for Brimfield, I don't know. A quick Google will probably tell you that. But like I said, we'll definitely put something fun together. Can you imagine all of us from the thrifting board? We'll get shirts.
Holy hell!
Brimfield.
We'll get some little leashes and tie yourself together so you don't want to get lost there.
But in Safe Ferris Bueller when he brought all the kids. Yeah.
Primo, I have ADD. You have to put a leash on me, or I will end up in somebody's car, taking a nap, or finishing something. It's crazy.
I think I saw her on her way to New Jersey in the back of someone's car, looking at a credenza.
Okay, ask me first how many of Primo's videos I've watched this week, and ask me how many listings I've done this week.
All right, how many videos?
And one.
You're lucky we haven't done more videos, I guess.
I know. So, do you have video from this year's Luau at the Lake?
But yeah, we did a whole bunch of filming, and
okay, so
we're just
when
releasing
can we
pictures
expect
right
that?
now, and then it'll probably take me months to edit a video with the nonsense, and just sitting down to do it. I have the ADHD, so
oh hell no!
I got to run around
like a double whammy.
17 different things at once, and
yeah.
That's why I've got the Magnum PI up in the corner and the news and the Howard Stern and the dog. I can't sit still.
Yeah.
Got this too.
All right. Well, I gotta say, I've had some fun guests, some fun shows, but I think based even on the chat from both shows, I think this was just a winning combination that needs to happen again and again. And I want to talk vinyl. For sure. And like I said, buddy, the whole group's happy to help. So if you got something you're like, what? How do I do this? Just drop it in the group and we'll get you squared away.
Will do.
Thank you to
very
Bridget.
much.
Thank you to Bridget for letting you play with us tonight.
She's right
Yeah, wait, let me put you guys on the big screen so it's all three of you.
there.
All
Say hi to everybody.
So go have some anniversary time together. Have a great evening. Thank you very much for doing both shows. I do appreciate both of you guys.
Thank you so
totally
much.
welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Oh heck yeah, anytime,
This
buddy.
has been the best
I'm glad
week
you reached
ever.
out and said, hey, let's chat. It was so much fun.
Dawson, are you going?
All right, relax,
The
Andy.
dogs? I can't. Now oh my
We'll
gosh.
go. Where do you want to go? We'll go anywhere. If they've got a butt washing toilet, I'm there.
All right, cool. All right,
Sorry,
everybody.
Bridget. We're coming to town.
We just got a new beachcomber, so I'm going to get her added and then welcome her with open arms. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the webinar.
And everybody have fun at Open.
Yes. And those of you coming in, I'll see you Sunday for Ass Juice. Woohoo! Good night, everybody.
Toilet related.
Good night.
Aloha.